This is our time. I'll cover the main events of this hour. My name's Yulia Guravaya. Hello. Last night, the Russian army used attack drones to strike the Mykolaiv region. According to local authorities, 10 people were injured. Among them were 8 children. All have been hospitalized. They are receiving the necessary medical care. Also, 3 residential buildings and a store were damaged. In Kharkiv, 2 people were injured as a result of Russian shelling. One of the Russian drones hit a private household. This was also reported by local authorities. Last night, Russian forces attacked both civilian and energy infrastructure in the Odessa region. One of the drones hit a private residential building. Damage was also recorded on the grounds of a dacha cooperative. Power outages are being reported in several settlements. This was reported by local authorities. No information on deaths or injuries has been received yet. Also last night, Russian drones struck the city of Novhorod-Seversky in the Chernihiv region. A woodworking plant was destroyed, and nearby houses and a kindergarten were damaged. This was reported by local authorities. The Russian attack caused a fire in a warehouse building. Rescue workers have extinguished the fire. Efforts were hampered by constant air raid sirens. In total, last night, Russia launched 443 attack drones from 5 directions, as well as 1 Kinzhal aeroballistic missile. Ukraine's air defense forces managed to shoot down 380 targets. Hits were recorded at 7 locations, and debris fell at 14 others. Over 3,000 attack drones, more than 1,400, 50 guided aerial bombs, and another 40 missiles of various types were used by the Russian army against Ukraine this week. This was reported by the president of Ukraine, Volodymyr Zelensky. He emphasized that Russia does not want to end the war against Ukraine and is also helping to prolong the conflict in the Middle East. Volodymyr Zelensky noted that it is high time to develop joint production of modern weapons with partners.
Practically the same attack drones fly over Ukraine as over the countries of the Middle East and the Persian Gulf. Ballistic missiles are used against us just as cynically as they are against our partners. The destabilization of world markets and the blocking of sea routes have not left a single country without consequences. We are doing our part to ensure security. And it is important that the world does not lose time and opportunities. Clear, decisive, and coordinated efforts are needed to ensure real protection of life and to stop the war. We need to build joint and modern defense systems, proven by war, to collaboratively develop the joint production of highly advanced and effective weapons. We must unite our collective capabilities so that in Europe, in the Middle East, and in all other parts of the world, people can finally live in peace. Volodymyr Zelensky, President of Ukraine, on Telegram.
Yemeni Houthis, backed by Iran, have claimed they carried out a second attack on Israel. This is reported by Reuters. It is noted that during the second strike, the Houthis launched a cruise missile. Both launches were successfully intercepted by Israel's air defense forces. No casualties or damage have been recorded. The rebel group stated that they will continue the shelling. Meanwhile, Iran has allowed passage through the Strait of Hormuz for Pakistani vessels. 20 tankers have already been able to cross the strait. This was reported by the foreign minister of Pakistan. He emphasized that now 2 ships will cross the strait every day. I'll remind you that Pakistan is offering to mediate negotiations between the U.S. and Iran. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has secured diesel supplies for Ukraine for at least 1 year. He told reporters this following his visit to the Middle East. According to the Ukrainian head of state, 700,000 tons a month are needed for diesel and gasoline nationwide, specifically for defense forces, with annual volumes totaling about 7.5 million tons. Meanwhile, Russia is introducing a total ban on gasoline exports. The fuel embargo takes effect on April 1st and will last for at least 4 months. This measure is caused by shortages due to refinery attacks, lack of Western equipment, and high domestic demand, forcing the Russian Federation into a total austerity mode. Victoria Chistiokina will continue the story.
The ban on motor gasoline exports will apply to all market participants. It's being introduced following a meeting of oil company reps and relevant agencies with Russian Deputy Prime Minister Alexander Novak. The Russian government's press service stated that authorities took this step to stabilize gas prices and ensure priority supply to the domestic market.
Due to the Middle East conflict, the price of Brent crude oil reached $112 per barrel on Friday. Earlier this week, Novak said the government would do everything to prevent an increase, fuel prices at gas stations above inflation. Novak told the meeting that turbulence in the global oil and petroleum products market caused by the Middle East crisis is leading to significant price fluctuations. From an article by the Moscow Times.
The country's authorities have repeatedly introduced such restrictions since the start of Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine and drone attacks on Russian refineries. The last ban on gasoline exports from Russia was only eased at the end of January this year. As the media notes, such a decision will be a heavy blow to the Russian economy because gasoline exports are one of the key revenue items, which provided significant foreign exchange earnings. Now, these financial flows have effectively been cut off. Even in the worst-case scenario of a long-term closure of the Strait of Hormuz, high prices for Russian oil will not last long. They will be driven down by American shale oil production.
Right now, there's a very large increase in activity from shale oil production companies. They have, in general, an acceptable oil price level right now that's not very high, around $62. This is a survey from the Federal Reserve Bank of Dallas, which polled oil workers. So at these prices, shale oil is profitable to produce and profitable to export, and that will instantly drive down market prices in the markets. So, well, the high price won't last very long, and you can't count on this to somehow solve all the problems of the Russian budget. Well, some amount will come in. Some portion of the budget will be covered by extra money.
The fuel shortage will complicate the transport of weapons to the front. Thus, every ton of gasoline that stays in the country will be a testament to the effectiveness of economic and forceful pressure on Russia from the international community. Large-scale and successful attacks by the armed forces of Ukraine on Russian oil refining facilities have significantly impacted fuel production. Up to 40% of export capacity has been halted. Many plants are unable to resume operations due to a lack of Western equipment, the supply of which is blocked by sanctions. The Russian Federation is effectively bankrupting from within, and its economy has entered a state of stagnation. The decline has affected almost all sectors of the economy, notes the Foreign Intelligence Service of Ukraine, Victoria Chistyhukina for the Freedom TV channel.